panelists for their key takeaways this afternoon. Emily, over to you with a few of your final thoughts, and then we'll hear from Rogge.
Well, I appreciate that. I think really appreciate the opportunity to present today. In terms of a final takeaway, I think that being, as Rogge said, being client-centric in terms of how you think about communicating with your with potential clients, and also addressing issues if they do come up, I think is a way to really avoid significant regulatory problems going forward. And also for firms to protect themselves, make sure that their policies and procedures address the requirements, that they train on them, and that they document the training and document the follow-up. Can't emphasize those aspects enough. And I think doing that will also provide significant protection vis-a-vis regulatory scrutiny after the fact, and regulatory scrutiny even if there are regulatory problems that have occurred. I think engaging in those protective activities can go a long way to avoiding a disciplinary action.
Thank you so much. And to close us out, over to Rogge.
Yeah, my takeaway is best practices is always going above and beyond the call of duty. Remember when the fiduciary rule was talked about and people would call me and say, well, do you think it's going to pass? Do you think it's going to be applicable to me? Is it only for 401k and retirements, or is it going to apply to all transactions? And I would say, I don't care whether it applies to you or not. You should make it apply. You should embrace it. It's just like selling a car without a seatbelt or an airbag. There was a time when that wasn't required by the government. But if you were a Volvo and you go out and say, we have better safety standards than are required by law, why is that not a fantastic sales pitch for you to attract and retain quality investor clients? So, and look, my thought is most of this stuff, we've seen Dodd-Frank, we've seen Sarbanes-Oxley, we got Reg BI coming, I think, June 30th. So why not embrace the best practice? Why not be able to say, I took the extra time and effort and expense to hire a communications expert. We did a town hall with our FAs. We looked at what our competitors, we spent all this time to try and do the right thing, even though we didn't have to, but we took that extra effort. How can that not protect you, first of all, from having a problem happen in the first place? And God forbid that a customer does complain or FINRA or the SEC comes knocking at your door, you can at least say, well, I wasn't doing this intentional. I may have made a mistake, but it's more of a foot fault given the effort I had. I mean, that's just good common sense, and you don't have to read the regs to implement that kind of best practices.